Testimony today in the Cortez Waller murder trial is so emotional. Not only do witnesses cry on the stand, so do people in the courtroom.
Cortez Waller is accused of shooting and killing Chris Childress in front of Childress's 3 children and their mother. Fox 16's Josh Rosenthal is live to explain the atmosphere in the courtroom today. Josh.
Donna, inside the courthouse today, you had people crying on the witness stand, you had people crying in the courtroom, you even had people leaving the courtroom so that they could go cry in the hall. At one point, the judge took a 15-minute recess just so that everybody could kind of cool down and catch their breath a little bit. Cortez Waller walks into the courthouse for what would be a very emotional day of testimony.
Cortez, what do you think about Duranda taking the stand?
No comment.
Today, Duranda Carter looked a lot like she did back on July 15th, 2010, the day of the shooting. Very emotional.
I can't believe he's gone, Mama.
She told the court she cheated on Chris Childress, the father of her 3 children, with Waller. Then prosecutors played this video. That's Waller in the black car parking, and Carter, Childress, and their kids are in the SUV pulling up behind them. Childress gets out of the vehicle and approaches Waller. Waller shoots him. From there, Waller walks into the Conway Police Department and is cuffed by officers. Carter saw the whole thing, and a few days after the shooting, she talked about why Childress confronted Waller.
He was to confront him. It wasn't nothing like, he didn't have no weapon or anything. He just shot him.
Today in court, Carter told jurors she begged Childress not to pull up behind Waller's car. Before this happened, she claimed she told Childress he'd end up in jail. Not only did Carter cry on the stand, some people in the courtroom cried watching her.
It was a very emotional testimony by Duranda Carter, and anyone would feel sorry for her under these circumstances, and we certainly are sympathetic to her position. It's just one of those cases where there's a lot of emotion. It's all genuine. Nobody's putting on any airs or show. It's just a tough case to try.
Yesterday, this trial moved very quickly. Today, just the opposite. Originally, attorneys told us to expect a 2- or 3-day trial. We still could get a verdict tomorrow, which would be 3 days, but don't be surprised if we don't get a verdict until Friday instead. Live in Conway, Josh Rosenthal, Fox 16 News.
Yeah, you can only imagine how emotional this has to be for Carter, but one of the things, and it probably won't come out too much in the trial, but how those 3 children are dealing with having seen their father shot in front of them.
Absolutely. I mean, you can imagine what that's like, or maybe you can't. It's come up sparsely in the trial, but nothing too detailed about how they're dealing with that now.
Okay. All right. Josh Rosenthal. Josh, thank you. The second-degree murder trial takes the stand in his own defense today. Good evening. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Cortez Waller has testified now for more than 2 hours about the shooting death of Chris Childress in front of the Conway Police Station. New at 5. Fox 16's Josh Rosenthal joins us live. And Josh, is Waller still on the stand?
Absolutely, Kevin. Right now, inside this courthouse, he's answering questions, but really he's telling his version of events. Now, of course, I want to get back in there, hear the rest of the testimony, but I'm going to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version. He says he fully admits he had a sexual relationship with Duranda Carter. At the time, Duranda Carter was dating Chris Childress, who ended up being shot by Cortez Waller. No one disputes any of those facts. Waller says flatly, when Childress found out about this affair, he was scared of Childress. Waller claims that Childress threatened him a number of times on the phone, and he says Childress even showed up where he worked. And then came July 15th, 2010, the day of the shooting here in Conway. Waller claims that he happened to be driving, so was Childress, and they bumped into each other here on the streets in Conway. He says that Childress followed him through the streets in Conway. Waller claims he tried to lose him, but just couldn't. And that's when he pulled up to the police department. Now, most of us by now have seen the video of the shooting. Waller says he pulled into the spot. Childress pulled up right behind him. Then Childress got out of his SUV, approached Waller, and Waller says this is what was going through his head at the time. He thought that Childress might have had something in his hand, and Waller said flatly he was scared, he was worried for his life. Now, a lot of people have said, well, why'd you shoot him? Couldn't you have taken a punch? Something along those lines. Just now, Waller told the jury that he has a scar on his head, which he does. He showed it to everyone in the courtroom, and he says that he had a brain tumor removed when he was 12 years old. Doctors told him if he were ever punched in the head, he could die. So that's essentially Waller's argument for self-defense. He's still on the stand. So far, just the defense has questioned him. The prosecution is going to get their shot next. Of course, if we don't have more information for you in this newscast, we'll keep you updated. Fox 16 News at 9. Live in Conway, Josh Rosenthal, Fox 16 News.
Obviously, they're showing a pattern here to reinforce their the defense's arguments that he feared for his life. It was an act of self-defense. What's the reaction been in the courtroom based on the testimony you've heard from Waller so far?
Pretty emotional so far, Kevin. A lot of Waller's family members are crying in the audience, and it looks like a lot of Childress's family members are also sad or at times angry. Some people have walked out of the courtroom. Jurors right now seem just locked in. I mean, they're staring at Waller. This is probably the most revealing testimony, or at least claims, that we've heard so far in this trial.
Josh Rosenthal, live in Conway. Thank you.
The jury is deliberating the second-degree murder trial of Cortez Waller in Conway. Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Waller is charged with killing Chris Childress in front of the Conway Police Department. Fox 16's Josh Rosenthal has been covering this trial all week. He joins us live now with the status, at least at this point. Josh, bring us up to speed.
Kevin, not much information to report right now. The jury's deliberating. They've been at it since 11 o'clock this morning, and really we haven't found out too much new information about that. But one note from today, Cortez Waller did have some sort of a medical scare. I'm told that he collapsed on the elevator while going to use the restroom. He did get some medical attention, and I actually just saw him on the steps of the courthouse here. He appears to be fine. I'm joined now by one of his two attorneys, Frank Shaw. Frank, thank you for being with us. To start off, the jury's been deadlocked since 11 o'clock this morning. What do you make of it?
Well, we're thinking that they're probably having a lot of trouble making a decision on this case. I mean, it's an emotional case. It has been all week from not only the victim's family, but also Cortez's family. And it's been hard on everyone. And I'm sure these jurors are giving it every consideration that they should, and they're having a hard time making a decision, which to me is really not surprising. It is a difficult call. We think our client acted in self-defense, and we're actively pursuing that claim even right now.
You know, I've noticed that the jury has sent several questions to the judge. I realize you're limited in what you can or can't say. Can you tell us anything about what they're asking?
Well, I can't give you the content of those questions, but there have been 3 so far. And one of the questions, or a couple of questions, were about definitions, legal definitions, which they have in the jury instructions. And another was about the position of their votes at that particular time.
One more quick one for you. Do you have any idea how long this is going to go? They've been at it since 11. We expect them to go into tomorrow, Monday?
Yeah, there's never an answer to when a jury trial is going to be over. Once you start, you go until you get finished. And it'll either finish tonight or tomorrow or Monday. And we really thought it was a 2-day trial, and now we're 4 days and plus into it.
Frank, thank you very much for joining us. I know you have to get in the courtroom, and so do I. We'll give you any update we get throughout the night. If not here on your 5 o'clock news, we'll get it Fox 16 News at 9. Live in Conway, Josh Rosenthal, Fox 16 News.
Hey, Josh, we had heard earlier that some emergency crews were called to the courthouse. Did that have anything to do with the trial?
Well, that was what I mentioned briefly earlier, Kevin, with Cortez Waller. He collapsed on the elevator on his way to the restroom. A deputy called EMTs. Waller appears to be fine right now, but we don't have any specific medical diagnosis of what went wrong. You got to imagine, I mean, he is the defendant in a murder trial. He's under an extreme amount of stress, so that could have something to do with it.
Josh Rosenthal, live in Conway. Thanks.
Breaking news tonight coming out of Conway. A jury finds Cortez Waller not guilty of second-degree murder. Good evening. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Jurors handed down the verdict after about 9 hours of deliberating. Let's get straight to it. Fox 16's Josh Rosenthal joining us live in Conway with the very latest on this. Josh.
Kevin, this has been an incredibly emotional trial all week long. We've talked about all the tears shed and all the very visible anger. Well, tonight, after the judge read that not guilty verdict, I'd say the level of emotion in the courtroom went to a whole nother level. Immediately afterwards, we spoke with both Chris Childress, the shooting victim's family, as well as Cortez Waller's attorney.
What's happened to the world? When a person can gun somebody down in front of the police station and in front of his 3 children, and then walk away.
After sending
Where
text messages
is
to him
justice
to
anymore?
revoke him to him.
How can we get justice when we've done everything in our power to try to get justice for my son?
Exactly.
My son,
He didn't deserve to die like that.
it's just not right. I do not understand this. How could they do this?
This is not a time to rejoice because 2 families have been seriously damaged. One's lost alive, and the other one, Cortez Waller's family, has been damaged forever by this charge. And even though he's acquitted, he'll carry this burden with him forever.
Again, tonight, a jury finds Cortez Waller not guilty of murder in a very emotional trial. Live in Conway, Josh Rosenthal, Fox 16 News.
Josh, I know it's hit and miss depending on certain trials, but any opportunity to talk to jurors, and do we know how they went about reaching that verdict?
Have not talked to the jurors yet, Kevin. Actually, there was so much emotion in there. The judge had the Waller family leave at one side of the courtroom, and then the Childress family leave at a different side of the courtroom at different times, and the jurors kind of got the same treatment. So I saw one walking to her car, and frankly, she was just trying to get out of here. I didn't even try to stop her.
I understand. Josh Rosenthal, live in Conway. Thanks.